Hey Dragon Slayers! Today's video is all about the PE diet's concept of triple muscle failure. So, back in the intro of demand training, we discussed the concept of failure and its importance for obtaining the positive adaptations that we are really looking for from exercise. Failure could mean different things to different people. For some, this would mean quitting an exercise the minute things got even a little bit uncomfortable. For others, this would mean continuing until you really can't move another millimeter, no matter how hard you try. And for those who want to wring absolutely every bit of demand out of their demand training, there is actually something we like to call triple failure. Allow us to explain. When you are performing an exercise, like a push up, there are two phases. The concentric muscle contraction is the more difficult part of the exercise, when you are moving against gravity. So, in the concentric portion of a push up, you are pushing yourself away from the ground. The concentric portion of that push up, right, is like you're pushing away from the ground. The eccentric muscle contraction is the easier part of the exercise, where you're letting yourself back down towards the ground at a controlled rate of speed with the help of gravity. So pushing up is concentric and going back down is eccentric. In triple muscle failure, you continue the exercise until you hit complete failure at the concentric or more difficult part of the exercise. In our push up example, this would be while you are pushing yourself up away from the ground. But once you reach this concentric failure, where you can't push up even another millimeter, instead of quitting, you try to hold yourself right there where you are for as long as possible. Holding yourself there where you are against gravity is called an isometric exercise. Examples of isometric holds would be a plank or a wall sit. These moves aren't quite as difficult as a concentric exercise, but they are still difficult in and of themselves. So here you are, hitting failure on the concentric part of a push up where you are unable to push yourself up no matter how much you try and no matter what you do. That is the first failure of triple failure. And now you're holding yourself at that failure point halfway up the pushing part of the push up. Holding yourself isometrically at this point is going to be very difficult indeed. But holding this until you absolutely can't anymore is the second failure of triple failure. And this, and what is the third and final failure of triple failure? Well, you guessed it. It's letting yourself down to the ground with gravity, the eccentric portion of the exercise, as slowly as you possibly can. At some point, you will be completely unable to prevent yourself from just slumping to the ground in muscular exhaustion. Congratulations. You just hit triple failure. You have sent the loudest message possible to your body that you need a strength and stamina adaptation. This is demand training at its finest. If you really want to get the greatest bang for your buck when it comes to resistance training, aim for this kind of failure with every single set. Anything less will feel like a waste of your time. So at first, I was kind of skeptical when I read about triple failure, right? I was like, I don't know. But I tried it out, and I have to admit, I love it. I have been doing reverse pyramid training for a long time, like off and on for years. And this idea of, I mean, this camera is, it's not wide angle, so I'll try to show you the best I can. But let's say you're doing an overhead press, right? So you're just taking the weights and you're pressing straight up. So you would let's say I'm doing like 6, right? 3, 4, 5, 6. So when I try to do 7, I can't quite do 7. And so I just push up as far as I can, but I can't make that 7th rep. Then you're going to hold this for as long as you can. Your muscles are going to burn, you're going to feel, and then come down as slowly as you can. That is basically the concept. And you do that for every exercise. I absolutely love it. I was shocked how much I loved it. I do it for every single set. I generally do 3 sets of anywhere between 5 to 10, and I try to every set get triple failure. Mine usually ends up being somewhere, but not quite triple, but like 2.5 times. So when I go to push, I stop, I hold it for as long as I can, but I come down pretty quick. So I'm like 2.5 times failure. But try it out and tell me what you guys think. I really enjoy it. I'm really shocked at how much I enjoy it. I feel that my muscular endurance overall is improving because you get different benefits from concentric versus eccentric versus isometric. There's different benefits to all 3, and with triple failure, you're stimulating some of those neurological pathways in every single set. That's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, you can support me at Patreon. The description is in the link below. Remember, guys, together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.